Picture this: a towering mountain stands before you, its peak shrouded in the first golden rays of dawn. That sunrise, pure and unyielding, pierces the darkness, revealing a path to greatness that only the early hours can illuminate. Yet here you are, tangled in the chains of comfort, your potential buried beneath the weight of late nights and snoozed alarms. Why do you resist the call of the morning? Why do you cling to the fleeting warmth of your bed, or the endless scroll of distraction when the world waits for you to rise? This is not just about waking early, it's about claiming your day, your purpose, your life. In these quiet, untouched hours, you hold the power to forge a future that shines brighter than any summit. Let's unravel why you hesitate, why comfort binds you, and how breaking free will set your soul ablaze with possibility. The sunrise is waiting. Will you answer its call? Imagine the scene: your alarm blares at 5:30 a.m., a sharp cry cutting through the haze of sleep. You grope for the phone, eyes half closed, and hit snooze. Just 10 more minutes, you tell yourself. The bed is a cocoon, warm and safe, whispering promises of rest. 10 minutes become 20, then 30, and soon the morning slips through your fingers like sand. You stumble out of bed at 7 a.m., rushed and frazzled, already behind before the day begins. The quiet hours you could have claimed, those moments to think, to plan, to breathe, are gone. You traded them for fleeting comfort, for a few extra minutes of nothingness. And deep down you feel it, a pang of regret, a quiet ache for what could have been. This isn't just a one-time slip, it's a habit, a chain forged link by link each time you choose ease over effort. You've felt this before, haven't you? The way a delayed start clouds your mind, how it steals your clarity and leaves you scrambling to catch up. That morning potential, the chance to stand on your own mountain peak and survey the day ahead, was right there. But you let it fade into the fog of snooze. Here's the lesson: the early hours are your canvas, untouched and waiting for your boldest strokes. Break the chain. Rise before the world demands your attention, and watch how the sunrise lights your path to greatness. As the takeaway of this section reminds us, takeaway. The first step to owning your day is choosing to wake when the world still sleeps. Now picture this: it's 11:30 p.m. and you're sprawled on your couch, phone in hand, thumb gliding endlessly across the screen. Videos, memes, notifications, a river of distraction pulls you deeper into the night. You tell yourself, just one more post, but one becomes 10, and soon the clock ticks past midnight. Your eyes burn, your mind buzzes with fragmented thoughts, yet you can't stop. The stillness of the night feels like a void, and this glowing screen fills it with noise. But what are you gaining? Nothing. You're sacrificing clarity, trading the peace of rest for a cheap thrill that vanishes with the morning light. When dawn comes, you're groggy, your energy drained before you even begin. You've been here before, caught in this cycle of late-night surrender. Each swipe steals a piece of your tomorrow, dims the brilliance of what your morning could be. The sunrise over that mountain peak doesn't wait for the weary. It shines for those who prepare, who honor the night with rest and the dawn with purpose. The lesson burns bright: let go of the midnight scroll. Lay down the device as you would a heavy stone and step toward the early light. That illumination, that path to greatness, begins when you choose clarity over chaos. Remember, takeaway. The power of the morning is yours if you release the distractions of the night. Why do you resist the early hours? Why does the pull of comfort feel stronger than the promise of progress? It's not just laziness, it's a deeper battle, a war between the part of you that craves ease and the part that yearns to rise. Comfort is a velvet cage, soft, inviting, but a prison nonetheless. It wraps you in the illusion of safety, whispering that tomorrow will be enough, that you can delay your greatness for one more day. But how many tomorrows have you lost to that lie? How many dreams have you buried beneath the weight of just a little longer? Think of the sunrise over that mountain peak. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't linger in the shadows, waiting for permission to shine. It rises fierce and inevitable, casting light on every hidden path. That's the energy of the early morning, a force that waits for no one, a gift reserved for those willing to meet it halfway. Comfort, though, is a thief. It steals your momentum before you even stand. It dulls your edge with late nights and overslept mornings, leaving you to stumble through days half-lived. But here's the truth: you are stronger than comfort's grip. You are a climber built to ascend, to stand atop that peak and breathe in the first light of possibility. The chains are heavy, but they are not unbreakable. Snap them. Rise, claim the dawn. There's a seductive lie in the quiet of late nights, the idea that these hours are yours, a stolen freedom from the demands of the day. You stay up scrolling or binging, convincing yourself you're in control, that this is your time. But what are you building in those midnight moments? What fortress of purpose rises from the ashes of lost sleep? None. You're not free. You're tethered to a cycle of distraction, to a hollow escape that leaves you empty when the sun breaches the horizon. Have you ever paused to ask, what am I truly gaining when I trade rest for restlessness? That sunrise over the mountain peak isn't just a pretty image. It's a mirror of your potential. The early hours are a sacred space, a canvas of silence where you can paint your intentions without the noise of the world. Late nights, though, are a mirage. They promise liberation, but deliver exhaustion. They trick you into believing you're seizing the day by stretching it thin, when in reality, you're eroding the foundation of tomorrow. The truth cuts sharp. True freedom isn't found in burning the midnight oil. It's forged in the discipline to rest, to rise, to meet the dawn with a mind unclouded and a heart ablaze. Break the illusion. Step into the light. Let the early morning be your rebellion against a world that settles for less. When that alarm rings and the temptation to snooze creeps in, you don't have to be its victim. Here's how to break free from the chains of morning resistance. First, place your alarm across the room, far enough that you must stand to silence it. That simple act of movement pulls you out of the bed's grasp. Second, anchor your morning to a purpose. Before you sleep, write down one reason to rise early, a goal, a task, a quiet moment of reflection. Let that reason be your beacon when comfort whispers its lies. Third, when you wake, don't think, just act. Count to 5, then move. Don't negotiate with doubt. Command your body to rise. This isn't about willpower alone. It's about crafting a ritual stronger than temptation. As Mel Robbins reminds us in the 5-second rule, if you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds, or your brain will kill it. Use that momentum. Stand, stretch. Let the cold floor beneath your feet be the first victory of your day. The sunrise over that mountain peak awaits, and with each early rise, you carve your path closer to its summit. Start small, but start now. The morning is yours to claim. Late night distractions are a silent thief, but you can reclaim your nights with intention. First, set a hard cutoff time, say 10:00 p.m., and commit to powering down all screens. Replace the scroll with a wind-down ritual. Read a book, journal your thoughts, or simply sit in silence. Second, create a barrier. Charge your phone in another room out of reach so the temptation to just check one thing doesn't derail you. Third, reflect on the cost. Ask yourself, what will I lose tomorrow if I stay up tonight? Write the answer down. If you must let it sting, let it motivate. Robin Sharma in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari teaches that small daily improvements are the key to staggering long-term results. Guarding your nights is one such improvement. It's not about restriction, it's about liberation, freeing yourself to meet the dawn with energy and focus. The early hours that sunrise over the mountain peak shine brightest for those who prepare. So lay down the device, rest with purpose, and wake ready to ascend. Your greatness begins with this choice. Discipline is not a punishment, it's a forge. It shapes you, tempers you, turns the raw iron of your will into something unbreakable. Why do you resist waking early? Because discipline stings at first. It demands you leave the soft embrace of comfort for the sharp edge of effort. Late nights and snoozed mornings are the easy path, the river that flows downhill without resistance. But greatness isn't found in ease. It's carved in the quiet of dawn, in the choice to rise when every fiber of you screams to stay down. Can you feel that tension within you, the pull between who you are and who you could be? Look to the sunrise over that mountain peak. It's not just light, it's a call to forge yourself anew each day. The early hours are your anvil, your chance to strike while the world sleeps, to build a life of purpose before distractions awaken. Comfort is a rust that corrodes your potential, but discipline polishes it to a shine. Napoleon Hill once wrote in, "Think and grow rich, strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle." Embrace that struggle. Let the early morning be your battleground where you fight not against the world, but against the weaker parts of yourself. Rise, forge, become. You've journeyed through the chains of comfort, felt the weight of snoozed alarms and midnight distractions, and seen why they bind you. You've walked the path of resistance from the velvet cage of ease to the seductive mirage of late-night freedom. But you've also glimpsed the truth. The early hours, like a sunrise over a mountain peak, illuminate your path to greatness. They are your sacred ground, your forge, your chance to claim the day before it claims you. The lesson burns bright as part. Takeaway reminds us waking early isn't just a habit. It's a rebellion against mediocrity, a declaration that you will not settle for less than your highest self. So stand now at the edge of this insight and prepare to climb higher. The next steps await, where we'll build the tools to rise with purpose and craft mornings that fuel your soul. For now, hold this truth close. The dawn is your ally, your guide, your fire. Answer its call. Let every sunrise be your victory. Final mantra: rise with the dawn. Your summit awaits. Picture a river at dawn, its surface a mirror of stillness reflecting the first hesitant light of day. Beneath that calm, a current moves, silent, relentless, carving through stone over centuries. That's the power of early mornings, a hidden force waiting for you to step into its flow. Why do so many sleep through this sacred hour? Why do you let the world's noise drown out the quiet strength of dawn? In this moment before the chaos of the day begins, you hold the chance to shape your destiny. The theme of waking up early, of starting your day right, isn't just about an alarm clock. It's about claiming the quiet power of dawn as your own. Feel the weight of this opportunity. You are not merely waking. You are rising to forge your path. Let's dive into this untapped energy, this river of possibility, and uncover how its subtle beginnings can carve the deepest impact in your life. Imagine yourself as a writer wrestling with words that refuse to align. Night after night, you've sat at your desk, the glow of a screen mocking your empty page. Distractions swarm. Notifications chatter the weight of a long day, draining your mind. You're stuck doubting if you'll ever craft something worth reading. Then one desperate morning, you set your alarm for 5 a.m. The world is asleep as you stumble to your desk, a cup of coffee trembling in your hand. The silence is unnerving at first, almost heavy. But as your pen touches paper, something shifts. Ideas flow like a stream breaking free of winter ice. Sentences form effortlessly, raw and true, as if the dawn itself whispered them to you. In this untouched hour, there's no judgment, no noise, only you and your thoughts carving a path through the blankness. By 6 a.m., you've written more than you did in a week. The lesson hits hard. The quiet of dawn is your sanctuary, a space where your deepest creativity emerges. Like a river at dawn, this early start seems small, almost insignificant, but its steady current cuts through the barriers of doubt and distraction. You realize that waking early isn't just about time. It's about claiming a space where your soul can speak. The takeaway burns within you. The first hours of day hold a power to transform, if only you dare to rise and meet them. Now see yourself as a runner, someone who's always craved the rush of movement, but struggles to find the rhythm. Afternoons are a battle, crowded sidewalks, honking cars, the heat of the sun, sapping your strength. You push through, but each step feels like a grind, your mind cluttered with the day's burdens. One restless night, you decide to try something different. You lace up your shoes at 5 a.m., stepping into a world still cloaked in shadow. The streets are empty, the air crisp, biting at your skin. As your feet hit the pavement, you feel it, a solitude so pure it's almost sacred. No one to dodge, no noise to drown out the steady beat of your heart. It's just you and the road, a silent pact between your will and the dawn. Mile after mile, you discover a strength you didn't know you had. The quiet amplifies your focus. Each breath feels like a victory. When you stop chest heaving, the first rays of sunlight touch the horizon, and you stand taller, forged anew. Like a river at dawn, this early run started as a whisper, a small choice, but it carved a deep resolve within you. The lesson is clear. The stillness of morning offers a solitude that builds unshakable strength. Waking early isn't just a habit, it's a rebellion against the chaos, a way to claim your ground before the world wakes. The takeaway resonates. Dawn's quiet is your arena to rise, to endure, to become. Pause for a moment and think, how often do you let the rush of life dictate your pace? How many mornings have you surrendered to the snooze button trading potential for a fleeting comfort? The early morning is more than a time. It's a forge, a place where your will is tempered like steel under a relentless hammer. The quiet power of dawn doesn't shout for attention. It waits patient as a river at first light, knowing its subtle flow can erode even the hardest stone. Step into this hour, and you step into a space where distractions melt away, where the raw material of your dreams can be shaped without interference. Consider the river at dawn. It doesn't roar like a midday torrent, yet its quiet persistence shapes valleys over eons. So too does your decision to rise early, carve a path through the obstacles of doubt and delay. This isn't about punishing yourself with sleeplessness. It's about honoring the stillness as a gift. In these first hours, your mind is a clear canvas, your energy a blade yet to dull. Use this time to reflect, to plan, to act. The world hasn't yet laid its demands on you. Why not lay your own dawn? Is your proving ground a sacred space to build something enduring? Let its quiet power remind you what starts small with intention can leave a mark deeper than any fleeting rush. Have you ever noticed how the world feels different at dawn? There's a hush, a reverence, as if the earth itself holds its breath. This solitude isn't loneliness, it's liberation. In these early hours, you're free from the expectations, the chatter, the weight of others' agendas. You stand alone like a sentinel on a cliff, gazing at a horizon untouched by the day's storms. This is the quiet power of dawn. It offers you a mirror to see yourself clearly, to hear the whispers of your own heart before the noise of life drowns them out. Think of the river at dawn, its surface unrippled, reflecting the sky's first blush. That's what these moments do for you. They reflect your truest self, unmarred by the day's chaos. In this solitude, you find clarity. You remember why you fight, why you strive. As Robbins wrote in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside awakes? Dawn is your invitation to look within, to awaken before the world does. It's a time to align your actions with your purpose, to let the quiet carve a deeper understanding of who you are. Embrace this solitude. Let it shape you as a river shapes the land slowly, silently, unstoppably. So how do you harness this quiet power? It starts with a simple act. Set your alarm for an hour earlier than usual. Don't overthink it. 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever feels bold yet doable. When it rings, don't negotiate with yourself. Rise, move. Place your feet on the floor and breathe in the stillness. This isn't about exhaustion, it's about intention. Create a small ritual to anchor you in this hour. Maybe it's brewing a cup of tea and sitting in silence for 5 minutes, letting your thoughts settle like sediment in a calm stream. Or perhaps it's jotting down 3 goals for the day, carving your focus before distractions creep in. Protect this time fiercely. Turn off notifications, guard the quiet as if it's a treasure. Use these minutes to do one thing that moves you forward. Write a paragraph to stretch your body, meditate on your purpose. As James Allen said in As a Man Thinketh, a man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. Dawn is your time to cultivate, to plant seeds of progress in fertile ground. Start small, but start now. Let the river of dawn carry you one deliberate step at a time toward a life of deeper impact. Once you've claimed your early hour, build momentum with action. The quiet of dawn is potent, but it's useless if you drift through it. Decide the night before what you'll tackle in this sacred time. Is it a project you've delayed? A skill you've longed to master? Write it down, make it real. When morning comes, don't let indecision steal your edge. Move straight into your chosen task, even if it's just for 20 minutes. The key is to start to let the first ripple of effort spread outward. Track your progress. Keep a journal or a simple checklist to mark what you've done each morning. Seeing your small wins stack up fuels your fire. If doubt creeps in, and it will pause, remind yourself why this matters. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow, rich desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a hope, not a wish, but a keen, pulsating desire which transcends everything. Let dawn be the crucible for that desire. Use its quiet to focus, to act, to build. Like a river at first light, your early efforts may seem minor, but they carve a channel of momentum that nothing can stop. Why does dawn hold such power? It's not just the absence of noise or the freshness of the hour. It's the sense of renewal, the feeling that each morning is a rebirth. You're given a blank slate, a chance to write your story before the world scribbles over it. This is a timeless gift, one that every great thinker, every relentless doer has understood. To rise early is to align with the rhythm of nature itself. The sun ascends, the river stirs, and so must you. It's a quiet rebellion against a world that thrives on rush and reaction. You choose to create before you consume, to build before you're burdened. Picture that river at dawn again. Its flow is gentle, almost imperceptible, yet it shapes the mightiest canyons over time. So too do your early mornings shape your life, not in grand immediate leaps, but in steady, persistent cuts against resistance. How many opportunities have you missed by sleeping through this hour? How much strength lies dormant because you feared the discomfort of rising? Dawn doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. Show up. Let its quiet power seep into your bones. Let it remind you that the deepest impact often begins with the smallest, most silent start. As we've journeyed through the quiet power of dawn, you've seen its magic unfold. The writer finding clarity in the stillness of 5 a.m., the runner forging strength on empty streets, the timeless truth that early mornings are a forge for your soul. The takeaway is undeniable. The first hours of day are your river at dawn, a subtle force that carves profound impact when you dare to step into its flow. These moments of solitude, of renewal, are not just a luxury, they're a necessity for anyone who seeks to start their day right. Embrace them. Let them shape you as water shapes stone, with patience and unrelenting will. As you carry this lesson forward, hold tight to the power of these early hours. They are your sanctuary, your proving ground, your silent rebellion against a world of noise. We'll build on this foundation in the next steps of our journey, exploring how to sustain this momentum through the day. For now, stand firm in the quiet of dawn. Let it be your guide. Rise with the river. Your deepest impact begins now. Picture a blacksmith at dawn, the forge roaring with untamed fire, the air thick with the scent of molten iron. The first strike of the hammer against raw metal echoes like a battle cry, sharp, deliberate, unstoppable. That's you standing at the edge of your day, gripping the hammer of your will. The early hours are your forge, and every choice you make before the world stirs shapes the strength of your future. Will you strike while the heat burns hottest, or let the iron cool in hesitation? This is about forging the habit of waking early, of seizing the quiet before the chaos, and building a routine that hardens your resolve into something unbreakable. You are not just rising with the sun, you are crafting a life of purpose, one deliberate strike at a time. Let's step into the heat together and shape the early rising habit that will carry you through storms and beyond. Imagine a single parent, Sarah, juggling a demanding job, 2 young children, in a household that never seems to settle. Her evenings are a whirlwind. Dinner spills, bedtime stories, endless laundry. By the time the house quiets, it's past midnight, and exhaustion pins her to the couch, scrolling aimlessly on her phone. The alarm blares at 6 a.m., but her body rebels. She hits snooze again and again, until the morning is a frantic rush of missed breakfasts and sharp words. The guilt stings. She wants to be present, to start her day with calm strength for her kids, but the late nights steal her chance. One day, Sarah decides enough is enough. She sees the early morning not as a burden, but as a forge where she can hammer out her resilience. She starts small, restructuring her evening with ruthless intent. The phone gets tucked away by 9 p.m., replaced by a quiet ritual of tea and planning the next day. She sets out clothes, packs lunches, and whispers a promise to herself: I will rise before the chaos. The first night's sleep comes easier. At 5:30 a.m., the alarm sounds, and though her limbs protest, she swings her feet to the floor. That first strike of action, getting up, feels like a hammer meeting iron. She breathes in the silence, sips coffee, while the world still sleeps, and feels a flicker of power. Over weeks, the habit hardens. Mornings become her sanctuary, a space to center herself before the day's demands. Her kids notice the difference. Mom's calmer, more present. The lesson burns bright. Early action, like a blacksmith's first strike, forges unyielding strength. Sarah's takeaway is clear: reshape your nights and you reshape your dawn. Now picture a college student, Amir, drowning in deadlines and late-night study sessions. His mornings are a fog of grogginess, the snooze button his closest companion. He stumbles into classes half awake, his mind lagging his goals, slipping through tired fingers. He dreams of acing his exams, of building a future he's proud of, but the weight of late nights and sluggish starts keeps him tethered to mediocrity. One morning, after missing yet another lecture, frustration ignites a spark. He refuses to let another day crumble. Amir decides to forge a new path. He sets a meaningful goal to wake at 5 a.m. and dedicate the first hour to reviewing his toughest subject. It's not just about waking early, it's about claiming victory over his own resistance. The first morning is brutal, his eyes burn, his body begs for sleep, but he drags himself to his desk notes, open coffee steaming. Each word he reads feels like a strike of the hammer shaping his focus. Day by day, the grogginess fades. That early hour becomes his proving ground, a quiet battlefield where he builds confidence. By the end of the semester, his grades soar, but more than that, he feels a strength he didn't know he had. The lesson hammers home: early action, like striking iron at first heat, forges a will that nothing can bend. Amir learns that a purposeful morning goal transforms struggle into triumph. Step back for a moment and consider the nature of habit. A habit is not a gift dropped into your lap. It's a blade you craft with sweat and persistence. Waking early isn't merely about setting an alarm, it's about striking the iron of your will while the heat of opportunity burns brightest. Think of your life as a blacksmith's workshop. The early hours are your forge, the place where raw potential is shaped into something enduring. Every time you choose to rise before the world, you're hammering out weakness, tempering your resolve. But how often do you let the fire die, waiting for a perfect moment that never comes? How many mornings have you traded for the fleeting comfort of sleep, unaware of the strength you're leaving unshaped? Discipline is not a punishment, it's a privilege. It's the fire that keeps your forge alive. When you commit to an early start, you're not just changing your schedule, you're declaring war on complacency. The blacksmith doesn't wait for the metal to cool, he strikes when the glow is fiercest. So must you. Rising early is your first strike, the act that sets the tone for every battle ahead. It's a quiet rebellion against a world that tempts you to drift. Remember this: the pain of waking is temporary, but the power you forge in those silent hours lasts a lifetime. Let's dig deeper. Every evening as the day winds down, you stand at a crossroads. Will you let the night unravel into distraction, or will you guard it like a sentinel preparing for the dawn? The choice seems small: scrolling for an hour, staying up to watch one more episode, but these tiny decisions are the sparks that either ignite your forge or extinguish it. A blacksmith knows that even a single misstep in timing can ruin the metal. So it is with your routine. How often have you underestimated the weight of these quiet choices only to wake to a morning of regret? Think of your evening as the anvil on which your morning is shaped. Every decision to rest, to plan, to disconnect is a strike that prepares the iron of your will. Waking early isn't an isolated act. It's the culmination of 1,000 small victories the night before. You are not powerless against the pull of late hours. You are the craftsman of your time. When you choose to sleep over distraction, to prepare over procrastination, you're forging a chain of strength that no grogginess can break. The early morning is your reward, a vast unclaimed territory where you can build without interference. Seize it and watch how the rest of your day bends to your command. Now let's get to the hammer and anvil of action. Building an early rising habit starts long before the alarm sounds. It begins with your evening. First, set a non-negotiable bedtime. Decide on a time that gives you at least 7 hours of rest and commit to it like a sacred vow. An hour before, cut off all screens, phone, laptop, TV. The blue light tricks your mind into staying alert when it should be winding down. Replace that time with something grounding. Read a book, sip herbal tea, or jot down tomorrow's priorities. Lay out what you'll need for the morning clothes, water bottle, work bag, so there's no friction when you rise. When the urge to stay up creeps in, pause. Ask yourself, will this hour of distraction serve my greater purpose? Write down one reason to rest instead. Keep that note by your bed as a reminder. The first week will test you. Your body craves old patterns, but stand firm. Each night you stick to this ritual, you're striking the iron, forging a routine that makes early mornings inevitable. Consistency is your fire. Keep it burning. Once you've mastered the evening anchor, you're morning with intention. Before you sleep, set a single meaningful goal for the first hour of your day. It doesn't have to be grand. Maybe it's writing 3 sentences in a journal, stretching for 10 minutes, or reviewing a work project. Make it specific and tied to something that lights a spark in you. Place a visual cue by your alarm, a note, a book, a pair of running shoes to remind you why you're rising. When the alarm sounds, don't think, just move. Count to 5 and swing your feet to the floor. That small act of defiance against sleep is your first strike of the day. Focus on your goal, not the grogginess. Reward yourself after completing it, a quiet moment with coffee, a deep breath of fresh air. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. If you falter, reset the next night. As James Clear reminds us in Atomic Habits, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than you were yesterday. Each morning you rise with purpose, you're forging strength that compounds over time. Finally, let's face the truth about resistance. It's the shadow that looms over every forge, whispering that the bed is warmer, the effort too great. Resistance isn't a flaw, it's the raw material you must work with. A blacksmith doesn't curse the stubborn iron he heats, it shapes it, endures the strain. So must you embrace the struggle of waking early? Ask yourself, what is this resistance teaching me? How is it making me stronger? Resistance is the fire that tests your mettle. Every time you push through the haze of sleep, you're not just waking up, you're forging grit. The early hours are a crucible, burning away excuses and leaving only your true resolve. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Don't fear the discomfort of a 5 a.m. start. Welcome it. It's the heat that transforms you. Over time, what once felt like a battle becomes your rhythm. You rise not because you have to, but because you've forged a habit stronger than any temptation to stay down. You've walked through the forge of habit, felt the heat of early action, and seen how it shapes unyielding strength. From Sarah, the parent who reclaimed her nights, to build calm mornings, to Amir, the student who anchored his dawn with purpose, the lesson rings clear. Waking early isn't a chore, it's a craft. It's about striking the iron of your will when the heat of opportunity burns brightest, about making small, deliberate choices that harden into unshakable routine. As Robin Sharma notes in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, your life changes the moment you make a new congruent and committed decision. The takeaway is this: forge your early rising habit with intention, and it will carry you through every challenge ahead. As we move forward, prepare to explore how these early hours become the foundation for greater victories. But for now, hold this truth close. Let it be your hammer, your fire, your unyielding resolve. Strike at dawn. Forge your strength. What if the first light of dawn held the key to your greatest harvest? Picture a farmer rising before the world stirs, stepping into the cool, quiet fields under a sky kissed by the earliest rays. With each seed planted in those sacred hours, they sow not just crops, but a future of abundance. That farmer is you. Every morning, when you choose to wake up early and start your day right, you're tending to your own fields, your dreams, your goals, your inner peace. The long-term rewards of this quiet discipline are not mere promises. They are certainties waiting for you to claim them. Feel the weight of this truth. Small early efforts yield harvest beyond imagination. Let's walk this path together through the mist of first light and uncover the riches that await when you commit to starting your day with purpose. Imagine yourself as a driven professional burning with ambition, but buried under endless distractions. Your days slip through your fingers, meetings, emails, and urgent tasks steal your focus. You dream of writing that book, launching that project, or mastering a skill that could redefine your career. But by evening, exhaustion claims you and your vision fades into tomorrow's endless list. The conflict is raw, time is your enemy, and you feel it slipping away with every late start. Then you make a choice. You set your alarm for 5 a.m. long before the world demands your attention. The first morning is brutal, your body resists, your mind groans. But you rise. In the stillness, with only the hum of dawn as your companion, you carve out 2 golden hours. You write, you plan, you create. No interruptions, no noise, just you and your purpose. Day after day, these early hours stack like bricks in a fortress. Weeks turn to months, and suddenly that book draft is complete. That project pitch wins a client, that skill elevates you to a promotion. This is the farmer's lesson. Those early quiet efforts, though small and unseen, are seeds planted in fertile soil. Each morning you show up, you're watering them with discipline. And as Jim Rohn once said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Your career blooms not from grand gestures, but from the steady tending of first light. The harvest, advancement, recognition, fulfillment is yours because you chose to wake before the sun and claim those hours as your own. Now see yourself as someone seeking peace in a world of chaos. Stress gnaws at your edges, deadlines, relationships, and endless noise leave you restless. You crave clarity, a stillness that anchors you against life's storms. But your days are a blur, and by night your mind races, refusing to rest. The conflict cuts deep, you yearn for calm, yet it feels out of reach. One day you decide to rise with the dawn. At 4:30 a.m., when the world is still wrapped in slumber, you sit in silence. The first session of meditation is clumsy thoughts swarm like bees and your body fidgets. But you breathe. You return the next morning and the next. Slowly those early minutes become a sanctuary. The chaos of your mind begins to settle like sediment in a still pond. Over months, a transformation unfolds. You react less, listen more. Challenges that once shattered you now feel like passing clouds. Your outlook shifts, gratitude replaces resentment, patience replaces haste. Like the farmer who rises to tend the fields, your early practice yields a harvest of inner peace. Each quiet morning is a seed of mindfulness rooted deep within. The reward is not just calm, but a life reshaped by clarity. As Jon Kabat-Zinn reminds us, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Your morning discipline teaches you to ride life's tides, all because you chose the first light to build your strength. Pause for a moment. How often have you traded the promise of tomorrow for the comfort of now? Waking early is not merely a habit, it's a sacrifice, a quiet rebellion against ease. It's the farmer stepping into the cold dawn, hands rough from toil, knowing that the soil demands sweat before it yields. The long-term rewards of starting your day right are not handed to you. They are forged in the crucible of discipline. Think of your mornings as a vast, untamed field. Each early rise is a seed you plant, small and unremarkable in the moment. But beneath the surface, roots grow unseen, unbreakable. Years from now, when you look back, you'll see not a barren patch, but a thriving harvest, careers built, peace earned, lives transformed. The beauty lies in the delay. The farmer does not feast on the day of planting. So too must you trust in the slow, steady work of first light. Pain is not your burden, it's your soil. Tend it well and it will feed you for a lifetime. Have you ever watched a river carve its path through stone? It does not rush with violence. It flows with relentless patience, shaping the hardest barriers over time. So it is with waking early. The long-term rewards of starting your day right are not born from a single heroic effort, but from the rhythm of renewal each dawn brings. You are not just rising with the sun, you are aligning with the pulse of creation itself. Consider the farmer again. Their work is not a sprint, but a dance with seasons. Each morning they return to the fields not because the harvest is immediate, but because they know the power of showing up. Your early hours are your river wearing down doubt, distraction, and delay. Over time, they carve a path to mastery, to peace, to purpose. The harvest of first light is this: a life built on intention, where every day begins with a step toward who you are meant to be. Trust the rhythm. Let it shape you. Let's build your harvest step by step. If you seek the long-term rewards of starting your day right, begin with a morning ritual that anchors you. First, set a consistent wake-up time, say 5 a.m., and commit to it for 21 days, no exceptions. Place your alarm across the room so you must rise to silence it. Second, start small. Dedicate the first 10 minutes to one focused act, whether it's journaling a single goal, stretching to awaken your body, or sitting in silence to center your mind. Third, protect this time. Fiercely turn off notifications. Tell loved ones these minutes are sacred. Finally, track your progress. Each week, note one way these early hours have moved you forward, a task completed, a moment of clarity, a spark of energy. As Robin Sharma writes in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, your I can is more important than your IQ. Believe in your capacity to rise early, and these small efforts will compound into a harvest of achievement and peace. Start tomorrow. The field awaits your hands. The first battle of waking early is with yourself. Resistance will strike your bed, will call your doubts, will whisper, "Not today." Here's how to win. Before sleep, visualize your why. Picture the career milestone, the inner calm, the life you're building. Write it on a note by your bedside as a reminder. When the alarm sounds, count backward from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Don't think, act. This interrupts hesitation, as Mel Robbins teaches in the 5-second rule. Then reward yourself a warm cup of tea, a favorite song, a moment to watch the sunrise. Tie waking early to joy, not drudgery. Each time you overcome resistance, you plant a seed in your field of discipline. Soon, rising with the dawn won't be a fight, it'll be your nature. The harvest of consistency awaits. Take that first step now. What will your legacy be? Not the fleeting wins or loud accolades, but the quiet choices that shaped your life. Waking early to start your day right is more than a habit. It's a testament to your resolve. Like the farmer who toils before the village wakes, your early efforts are unseen by most, yet they ripple through time. They build not just your success, but the strength you pass to others, your family, your community, your future self. Picture your life as a towering tree grown from the seeds of countless mornings. Each dawn you claimed became a root grounding you against life's storms. The harvest of first light is not just personal, it's generational. It's the story of how you rose when it was hard, how you sowed when no one watched, how you reaped a life of purpose. So rise tomorrow. Plant your seed. Your legacy is waiting to grow. As we've walked through the fields of first light, we've seen the truth unfold. The long-term rewards of starting your day right are not mere hopes, but inevitable fruits of your labor. Whether you're the professional carving out hours to build a career, or the meditator crafting inner peace each early morning, is a seed planted in the soil of your future. The lesson is clear: small, consistent efforts in the dawn's embrace yield harvests of achievement, clarity, and strength. You've learned that discipline is your plow, patience, your rain in time, your greatest ally. Trust in this process. The field of your life is fertile, waiting for your steady hand. As we move forward, let's carry this wisdom into shaping even greater mornings, building rituals that stand the test of time. For now, hold this truth close and let it guide you each daybreak. Final mantra: rise with the dawn. Your harvest grows with every seed. Picture this: the world is cloaked in the gray hush of dawn, a thick fog rolling over the endless sea of your challenges. You stand alone, a lighthouse on a jagged cliff, your beam cutting through the haze with unyielding clarity. Before the rest of the world stirs, you rise. Before doubt can anchor you to your bed, you ignite. Why does this matter? Because in the quiet of the early morning, you don't just start your day, you become a beacon for others. You transform not only yourself, but also those who witness your unwavering light. In this moment, as you embrace the discipline of waking early, you inspire a ripple of change that can awaken entire shores of sleeping potential. This is your power. This is your purpose. Let's dive into what it means to embody the early rising mindset and guide others through the fog of their own uncertainties. Feel the weight of this calling. You are not just waking up, you are illuminating paths. Are you ready to be the beacon? Imagine a small, struggling team in a bustling corporate office. Deadlines loom like storm clouds and morale sinks lower each day. The team leader, Sarah, once dragged herself into work at the last possible minute, mirroring the exhaustion of her colleagues. But one day she made a choice. She began waking at 5 a.m., long before the city buzzed to life. In those silent hours, she planned, reflected, and fortified her resolve. By the time her team arrived, Sarah was already a force calm, focused, radiating an energy that felt almost otherworldly. Her early morning discipline wasn't just about her tasks, it became a signal, a lighthouse, piercing the fog of their collective doubt. Slowly, her team noticed. "How do you stay so sharp?" they asked. She didn't lecture or demand. She simply shared her secret: "I rise before the chaos. It gives me ground to stand on." Inspired one by one, they began to shift. First, it was just an earlier alarm. Then it was a shared morning huddle fueled by her example. Within weeks, productivity soared, not because of mandates, but because Sarah's light showed them a new way to navigate their storms. The lesson is clear: when you rise early, you don't just transform your day, you become a guiding beam for others lost in the haze. Like a lighthouse, your steady rhythm through the early hours offers direction when all seems unclear. Now picture a group of old friends catching up over coffee on a lazy Saturday. Among them is Mark, a man who for years grumbled about his lack of time, his stalled goals, his endless fatigue. But something's different today. Mark sits taller, his eyes brighter, his laughter lighter. When asked about the change, he grins and says, "I started waking up at 4:30 a.m. every day. It's my time to build what matters." His friends lean in curious. He describes his quiet mornings journaling, jogging, planning, while the world still slumbers. At first they laugh, teasing him about missing out on late-night shows. But over months they see the shift. Mark finishes projects, exudes calm, and tackles challenges with a clarity they envy. One friend, Lisa, feels the stir of inspiration. She's been stuck in a rut, oversleeping, overwhelmed. Tentatively, she tries Mark's way. She wakes early just once, then twice. Soon it's a habit. Her own transformation begins, and she shares it with another friend. Mark didn't push or preach. His consistent light in the morning fog became a silent invitation. The takeaway shines like a beacon. Your early rise isn't just personal. It's a flame that can ignite curiosity and change in those around you, guiding them through their own uncertainties. Let's pause and reflect. You might think waking early is a solitary act, a private battle between you and the snooze button. But consider this: every time you rise before dawn, you send a silent message to the world. You declare without words that you are in command of your time, your purpose, your life. Like a lighthouse standing resolute against crashing waves, your early morning discipline pierces the fog of mediocrity that surrounds so many. It's not about shouting your habits from the rooftops. It's about embodying them with such quiet strength that others can't help but notice. How often have you underestimated your own influence? How many lives could shift if you simply showed up as your best self each morning? Your transformation is a gift not just to you, but to everyone who crosses your path. As Jim Rohn once said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." If you become the beacon, you elevate that average. You pull others upward not by force, but by the sheer power of your example. Rising early isn't just a habit, it's a responsibility. You are the light. Shine without apology. Dive deeper with me. Think of your early morning as a stone dropped into a still pond. The moment you rise, a ripple begins small at first, barely noticeable. But as you move through your day with intention, grounded by those quiet hours, that ripple grows. It touches your family, your friends, your colleagues. They sense the shift in you, the calm, the clarity, the unshakable focus, and they wonder. Some will ask, others will simply watch, but all will feel the undercurrent of change. Like a lighthouse cutting through the morning mist, your early rise doesn't just guide you, it signals to others that there's a way through their own chaos. Have you ever considered how much power lies in your consistency? A single morning might seem insignificant, but 1,000 mornings build a legacy. Pain is temporary, fog is fleeting, but the light you cast by choosing to rise early endures. It becomes a harbor for those lost in their own storms. You don't need to save the world, just be the steady beam that shows one person then another that transformation is possible. Your dawn is their hope. Now let's get practical. If you want to inspire transformation in others through your early rising mindset, start with your own foundation. Commit to waking at the same time each day, no exceptions. Set your alarm for 5 a.m. or earlier if you dare, and place it across the room so you must rise to silence it. In those first moments, anchor yourself, breathe deeply, splash cold water on your face, and remind yourself, I am the beacon. Then craft a morning ritual that radiates purpose. Maybe it's 10 minutes of stretching to awaken your body, or writing 3 goals to sharpen your mind. Whatever it is, let it be visible. If you live with others, don't hide your routine. Let them see you moving with intention. If you work with a team, arrive early prepared and let your energy speak. When someone asks, share simply, I start my day before the noise. It changes everything. Don't push, invite. Your consistency will do the rest. Each morning, ask yourself, how can my light guide someone today? One small act of discipline can spark a revolution in another's life. Here's another step to ignite change. Once your early morning habit is solid, find subtle ways to share its impact. You don't need grand gestures, just authenticity. Over a casual chat, mention how rising early has given you clarity or energy. Drop a line like, "I used to drag through my days, but starting at dawn flipped everything." Let curiosity do the work. If someone shows interest, offer a small challenge. Try waking early just for 3 days. See how it feels. Better yet, create a shared moment. Invite a friend for a sunrise walk or a colleague for an early brainstorming session. Make it less about preaching and more about connection. As Robin Sharma wrote in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, small daily improvements are the key to staggering long-term results. Your early rise is that improvement. In sharing it, plants seeds in others. Keep a journal of your own progress, noting how your mornings influence those around you. When doubt creeps in, read it. Remind yourself your light matters. You're not just rising, you're lifting others with you. Let's linger on this truth. A lighthouse doesn't choose who sees its beam. It simply stands unwavering, casting light across the darkest seas. So too must you rise early, not for applause or recognition, but because it's who you are. Your transformation through those quiet, disciplined hours becomes a force beyond your control. You might never know whose life you've touched, whose doubts dissolved, because they saw your steady glow. Isn't that the beauty of it? Your early mornings are not a burden, they are a privilege. They forge you into something greater, a pillar of strength others can lean on when their own fog thickens. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Believe in your power to inspire. Conceive of yourself as that lighthouse cutting through uncertainty with every dawn. The world is watching even when you think it's not. Rise anyway. Be the beacon, not for glory, but for the silent souls who need your light to find their way. As we close this chapter, let's stand together on that cliff, gazing out at the endless sea of possibility. You've seen how rising early transforms not just your day, but the lives of those around you. Through Sarah's leadership and Mark's quiet consistency, you've witnessed the ripple of influence. Through reflection, you've grasped the weight of your silent power. And through actionable steps, you've armed yourself to inspire. The key lesson remains: your early rise is a beacon that guides others through their own fog of doubt and delay. You don't need to shout or force change. You simply need to be the light. As you move forward, carry this truth into every dawn. Let it fuel you when the bed feels too heavy, when the darkness tempts you to stay. You are more than an early riser. You are a lighthouse, piercing the morning mist for all who are lost. Keep shining, for the next section awaits, where we'll explore how to sustain this powerful habit through life's inevitable storms. Final mantra: stand tall. Your light pierces the fog for many.